Bring the public hearing to order Tuesday, July 21st, 2015, 9:30 a.m. Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Tedesco,
Here.
Commissioner Odorizio, Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Here.
Commissioner Pulowski.
Here.
Could everyone please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Pulowski,
Yes.
Commissioner Odorizio, Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. No awards and presentations. Public comment. Erica, do we have anyone signed up for public comment?
We do not.
Is there anyone in the audience who did not sign up for public comment that would like to do so at this time? Seeing none. Elected officials, communications. Commissioner Odorizio.
I have a brief one. This morning, I had a meeting with one of our county attorneys and some members of the Environmental Crimes Task Force, which is led by members in the Attorney General's office. One of the promises I made during my campaign and to folks was that if I see things that I think rise to the level of criminal activity, I'll know what to do with them. When I was a DA, I worked on the Environmental Crimes Task Force, and so today I was able to introduce some of those folks that were in that task force to members of our legal team. I think that our legal team works very hard with code enforcement and law enforcement to do a lot of great things in our community to fight blight, pollution, and issues dealing with violations of code. I do want it to be known, though, that we will be looking at issues that involve dumping, illegal dumping, pollution, and I'm going to be asking the county attorney's office to continue to work with law enforcement and even the environmental group at the attorney general's office if we find that there are certain cases that rise to the level of possible criminal activity. I think it's just should be known that we're not going to tolerate that kind of stuff in our community. I can't tell you how often I get phone calls, not just on small code violations, but some of the bigger stuff. And I'm going to be asking that we remain diligent in our efforts to clean up this community. So that's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other comments? Elected officials? No? I'll just say we're getting very close to the Adams County Fair, August 5th through the 9th. We definitely want to see you there. We have a lot of exciting events. Don't forget to get your app. You can go on the App Store and Adams County Fair and download the free app. It has all the schedules. Please show up for and register for the Funnel for Cake 5K. That being said, consent calendar. Do I have a motion for the consent calendar?
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent calendar.
Did you have a question?
I do have a question, but I think I can relate it later. The only question I was going to ask, rather than pulling it off the actual consent calendar, was just a general understanding that it's my understanding that the discussion regarding the providing the incentives for Digital Globe were addressed last year in study sessions and in discussions with this board before I got here. Is that correct?
Staff, do you want to answer that question? County Manager.
Yes, that discussion was actually had along with ACD, came in and had a conversation when Digital Globe was coming in.
So I would just want to do a follow-up and learn more about the criteria and how often we have this. Everything I've learned about Digital Globe, it sounds like it's going to be a great deal for the community. So I'm very supportive of it. My only question was just trying to understand the criteria, and maybe we include that somewhere in a study session, or we can highlight that this was, so if a member of the community wanted to ask how such decisions are made, we can point them in that direction so they have some comfort with that.
Commissioner, we're more than happy to do that. Actually, ACD really brings forward these incentive arrangements, and there's some criteria they have outlined. It's pretty systematic in terms of how we look at reinvestment and that sort of thing. So we're more than happy to do a study session to get everybody up to speed.
With that said, I do approve. I would ask that we, a motion to approve the consent calendar.
And I have a quick comment in regards to your concerns about Digital Globe. Digital Globe employs over 1,200 employees. with an average pay of $95,000 a year. Having that kind of an employer in the county definitely deserves to have incentives.
Yep.
And I second it. The consent calendar.
Thank you very much.
Commissioner O'Dorisio?
Yes.
Commissioner Henry?
Yes.
Commissioner Pulaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson? Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes. New business, County Manager Todd Leopold.
Yes, good morning. Two items for your consideration. The first one's a resolution to accept a proposal from and awarding a contract to Integrated Voting Solutions Incorporated for ballot envelope and secrecy sleeve printing and mailing services for the election department for the clerk and recorder's office. Ben D. Romanis with our purchasing department's here to talk through that.
Good morning. As part of their responsibility to conduct federal, state, and county elections, the Adams County Elections Department is required to administer a mail-in and early voting process. On May 7, 2015, a request for proposal was posted to the Rocky Mountain Electronic Purchasing System seeking a qualified contractor to provide ballot, envelope, secrecy sleeve printing, and mailing services to fulfill this requirement for the 2015 coordinated mail-in ballot election in November. The proposal deadline closed on June 4, 2015. 3 proposals were submitted. After the evaluation process was completed, Integrated Voting Solutions Incorporated received the highest average score. Proposals were evaluated on the following criteria: ability to meet ballot specifications, response to the RFP scope of work, contractor's response to the questions, previous ballot printing experience, compliance with completion schedule, and pricing. During the evaluation process, the team highlighted the following qualities in IVS's RFP response: ballot tracking and quality control procedures, third-party ballot printing inspection area, their Denver location, and compatibility with current software we have here. Although IVS was not the lowest respondent in regards to pricing, the evaluation committee determined that they would provide the best value to the county based on all of the required evaluation criteria. IVS has provided election services to Douglas, Boulder, and Bluefield counties, amongst others in Colorado, as well as numerous counties in 11 other states. It is the recommendation of the Clerk and Recorder's Office that the RFP award be made for ballot printing services be made to Integrated Voting Solutions Incorporated.
Thank you very much. Commissioners, do we have any questions?
Just a real quick question.
Commissioner Hanson.
There's no way in hell I'd ever give the contract a run back again, but I'm going to ask this question just because it was told to us, I think I may have been the only one on the board at the time, that the reason why they wanted to do run back once upon a time, this is probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, is that the printing of the ballots had to be printed in a way, with marks that were able to go through the machine. And this is probably more of a question for the clerk or his staff. And that Runbeck was better qualified because of their involvement with those machines to be able to, print it correctly. It sounded a little silly to me at the time, but I just want to make sure that there's not going to be any issue with the printer we select being able to accommodate our particular machinery.
Not that I know of. I'm pretty sure that what we have installed here county-wise with our software.
Can I have the clerk comment
absolutely.
on that? It's probably more of a question for him. I don't think so, but I need to ask just for the record for my own peace of mind.
Stan Martin, Clerk and Recorder. Commissioner Hanson, so the ballots are laser jet printed.
Right.
And regardless if we go out, or regardless if we pilot, this year or not, and we'll find that out soon. The technology through laser jet printing, the scanners can read those laser jet printers, so we've got no compatibility issues there.
Okay, thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Okay.
Okay, I have a quick question on that because it sounded like you were pointing out that we were going to a pilot program which may or may not happen or be. I think the question that I need answered is per his statement, will the machines that we have currently be able to address those issues?
They will.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for the clerk.
Commissioner O'Dorisio.
Yeah. How many different counties did it say that this recommended vendor already worked for?
11.
11?
11 in Colorado. That
And,
were provided to us at least.
And I believe one of the, I can't find out where it is, I gotta find it in here, but they had mentioned that they had done work with some of the bigger counties in the metro area, correct?
Yes, and I actually called in references with Boulder, Broomfield, and Douglas, although Douglas, I played phone tag for a second.
Sure.
But they got excellent references from everybody. Boulder's been using them for the past, I think at least 2010, she said, might have been even 2008, they've been using that same company. So,
And so my only question is, while that does provide me some comfort that they understand how to deal with the bigger counties, was it under the completion schedule, or where was it in our analysis that we determined whether they can they could scale up to take on another big county? Do we have concerns about
I'm going to
them
bring
taking
our
on-
elections manager, Christy Coburn, to the podium. She was on the evaluation committee for this.
Mr.
Christy
Chairman.
Coburn,
Oh.
good morning. Yes, we talked to the vendor and their proposal about the facilities that they have and the estimated time to print ballots, specifically for Adams County, and they can fit it in with their schedule without buying any more printing equipment. They actually have the flexibility in just staffing up, and they told us for that particular vendor, the total printing time was somewhere about 2.5 days. And also in their bid, they, have welcomed staff to come out and be on site to look at those ballots while they're being printed.
Okay.
Commissioner Pulaski.
Just a little correction. It's 3 other counties in Colorado, but it's in 11 other states, numerous counties.
Got it. Thank you. But I remember them talking about the bigger ones, and my question was scalability.
I guess my only question is, do they print in-state or is it out-of-state that they print?
Yeah, it's all in state. And there's actually the third-party ballot printing inspection areas. It's actually an area that they have set aside at their location where we can go and watch the ballots be printed and monitor them to stay out of the problems we've had in the past.
Commissioners, any other questions? No other questions. Thank you very much. And at this time, is there anyone in the audience that would like to make comment on this? Seeing none, commissioners, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move a resolution to accept a proposal from and awarding a contract to Integrated Voting Solutions, Inc. for ballot envelope and secrecy sleeve printing and mailing services for the Elections Department of the Clerk and Recorder's Office.
Second.
Commissioner Pulaski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner Henry,
Yes.
Commissioner Odericio, Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Our next item is a resolution approving Addendum 2 to the agreement between Adams County and Eon Enterprises, Inc., DBA Eon Office Products for our annual office supply program, and Ben is here again to talk through that.
In 2013, the county proposed a solicitation on the Rocky Mountain e-purchasing system, seeking a primary contractor to supply all county departments and offices with their office supplies. After a thorough RFP evaluation process that included multiple county departments and offices, the contract was awarded to local Denver contract Eon Enterprises Incorporated for one year with 2 additional 1-year renewal options. On March 3rd, 2015, the BOCC approved the first renewal year of the contract for an estimated amount of $122,088.30. However, the renewal only covered the initial list of the most commonly used items and did not include the other catalog items purchased by the county, as was approved in the original contract. As staff continues to improve the utilization of this contract, the total expenditure for office supplies provided by Eon Enterprises Incorporated was an estimated $550,406. In utilizing Eon Enterprises Incorporated as its primary provider of office supplies, the county has seen a decrease in the expenditures with other suppliers of an estimated $62,575 during this same period. Adams County is pleased with the pricing and service provided by Eon Enterprise Incorporated. Given this, it is recommended that Adams County renew its contract for the second term with Eon Enterprises Incorporated to be the primary provider of office supplies for an estimated amount of $560,000.
Commissioners, do we have any questions for staff? I do have a question. I want you to clarify for me. In the beginning, you stated that this is a 3-year contract that we're trying to approve with the first year being approved and then 2 additional years upon approval, right?
Correct.
But then in the second part of your statement, you said this is a second term. Can you clarify that for me? Are we approving a new 3-year
So
term?
this will be the third year of the contract.
Third
So
year of the contract.
What happened was we ended up renewing the first year late. And so that was what happened in March, which was also when we spotted the error in the pricing. So what we're doing now is we're renewing essentially the third option year.
Okay, so it's the third option year.
Yes,
Okay, thank you very much.
or second renewal.
Commissioners, any other questions? No other questions. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a comment at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion? No motion?
Mr. Chair? I move that we approve Addendum 2 to the agreement between Adams County and Eon Enterprises, Inc., doing business as Eon Office Products for the annual office supplies.
Commissioner O'Dorisio? Commissioner Henry? Commissioner Pulaski?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson?
Aye.
Commissioner Tedesco?
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more from the county manager, county attorney Heidi Miller.
Good morning, Commissioners. You have before you this morning a resolution approving real property value adjustments pursuant to Colorado Revised Statute 39.8.1021. This issue is briefly discussed with the Commissioners during study session. There was an error in the computer modeling at the assessor's office, and 13 properties were not properly adjusted prior to notice of value being sent out this year. The Board of County Commissioners sits as the Board of Equalization for the county, and only the Board of Equalization may adjust property values once notice of values have been sent. And so you are being asked to adopt changes to the values of these 13 properties as identified in your studies in the packet, and those properties will be notified that their values are changing. Cindy South from the Assessor's Office is here if there are any questions from the board or the public about the issue.
Commissioners, do we have any questions? Commissioner O'Dorisio.
If I'm reading the spreadsheet correctly, it sounds like that some of these are actually going up, correct? They're all going up.
They're all going up. Yeah.
So, do we have any concerns about has there been any detrimental reliance on the notice that was already sent? Are we aware of any detrimental reliance?
We're following state law with regard to how to change these values. The Board of Equalization has that authority.
Right. Then I have no problem with what we're doing.
So my only question, or actually clarification is that although we approve what the Board of Equalization puts before us, we as county commissioners don't have control as to what that is.
This particular situation is not, independent arbiter did not do this work. This was done by the computer modeling in the assessor's office so
Right.
that these 13 properties are done consistently with the other thousands of properties that were assessed in the county. So you could, at this today, say you don't want to make these changes. but-
I understand we have
Okay.
the ability to say yea or nay.
Right.
I'm just saying our involvement in the decision process is limited to the Board of Equalization.
Correct. You did not create these assessments. That was done by the assessor's office.
That's the clarification that I
Yeah.
wanted to get to. Okay. Any other questions?
What was the actual error?
I think I'll let
Could-
Cindy South speak to that.
Yeah. Could you please step forward, state your name and title, and see if you could answer that question for us?
Cindy South, Deputy Assessor for Adams County. The process in our CAMA system, our computer-assisted mass appraisal system, is on commercial properties. You have to do 3 approaches to value. So we do the cost, the market, the income. There's also a reconciled option. And in the case of these properties, the reconciled was actually selected as the approach when the income should have been. And in the mass calculation process, because these were on reconciled, they did not get hit with the new income model that was produced by the system. So those 13 were missed in that process of going forward with the income valuation.
How do we avoid that from happening in the future?
Having more than 11 weeks to do the reappraisal. We had 160,000 properties that we had to value, and so we messed up on 13 of them. So that's not bad odds, but next time we'll have 6 months to do that reappraisal. So we'll have more eyes on all of the values that we calculate.
And how do you determine which of the views to use of the three that you said?
It's usually, in commercial, we strictly, not strictly, but more weight is given to the income approach, unless it's new property, or if it's special purpose, then we look at the cost approach. Usually, the market will support our income approach, because income is how people purchase commercial properties.
Got it.
Reconciled is usually because somebody has established a value at county boards, or BAA, or district court. We use a reconciled as somebody else's decision of a value.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Any other questions, commissioners? No more questions. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to make a statement at this time? Seeing none, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, but I don't know if I have the right. I would move for approval of what? That the Board of County Commission, no, that isn't it. Just read that, no, I mean me. Slide that over again. A resolution approving real property value adjustments pursuant to CRS 398102-1.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Pulaski,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanson,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Dorisio, Commissioner Henry. Commissioner Tedesco.
Yes. With no further business, we will adjourn. We will resume land use hearings, and I believe, you can correct me or put it on record, where we are going to have these land use hearings? Here? Okay, so we will resume at 10 o'clock with land use hearings.